Hello, welcome back to the Live Reality Games podcast. My name is Steven, and I'm back with more Surviving Reelfoot Fowler's Point deep dive interviews. And today, joining me, we have the fifth place player from the season, Sharif. Sharif, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Steven. How you doing, man?
Doing well. You mentioned a little bit before, it's been about a month since the game. How has the post game been treating you?
Well, it has been over a little bit of a month since the game ended, so I had to do some quick research on what exactly happened because I actually took a little break from watching the videos as soon as the game was over, just because I wanted to keep it in my head the way I thought it was, And then over the last week, actually, I just started watching more and more videos, and it was good because it reminded me what actually happened and what didn't happen in my head. So it was a good catch up, and yeah, I'm just ready to go into it with you.
I'm impressed you've watched the videos. I think I've seen only like one video of my season from Reelfoot. I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm happy.
It took a while. I actually, for a while, I wasn't sure I was going to watch all of them. But once you get into it, you're just like, no, I gotta know what happens next. Like, what is this person saying about me or this other person? It's just nice to see what people's perceptions are of other people, and you don't get to see that because it all happens during the confessions. So yeah.
What has been the biggest surprise for you post game?
Biggest surprise post game. Well, it's not surprising, but I know it's just nice to see that the cast is still so tight to this day. Like we like a lot of people I still talk to this day, and it's nice to see that. Like we're in a game competing against each other, frenemies really, and we're just like just like messaging each other about the game and just like other things too. So it's nice to see that this community is growing. It feels like a small family going on here. So it's just nice that we're all keeping in touch, and yeah, just even though we were voting each other out, going behind each other's backs, we're still like friends in in real life, which is awesome to see that.
So I want to talk a little about your journey to Reelfoot. Now, Reelfoot, correct me if I'm wrong, is not your first live game, right?
No, it's not. So I found so I followed the CBS Instagram account, and I saw a hashtag for one of the reality games, and it was Survivor New York. So I did that last summer. And I just had a blast doing it. I didn't even know about this community existed, like reality games, like there are so many out there that just blew my mind, and I had no idea that people were doing this. So I thought the only way to play the game was actually to go to CBS Survivor and do it. So I did that, made the cast for that, and I just remember having such a good time that I just wanted to do more of these, and that led me to Survivor Reelfoot because somebody I knew, Dr. Stan, he told me about Survivor Reelfoot, and that's what got me to put my application in, and I'm so glad I did because this was one hell of a ride for me.
So I know your Surviving New York season will be airing this fall, I believe. So
Yes.
you don't need to spoiler it, but generally, like, what were your takeaways from playing Survivor New York, and what were you looking to maybe do or do differently coming in the Reelfoot?
In Survivor New York, it was my first reality game, so I think I was a little too trustworthy of some particular people. That made that I said to myself, you can't be so gullible in this season. You should come out strong. And I did, without spoiling too much, I did come out strong in that season too. But I just felt like I needed to make connections fast in this game, because if you miss day one of making connections, you're in the bottom of it, because people already have those connections. So I knew you had to just go straight at it. And honestly, the game is quite different. It is a 3-day game, the New York one, and it's a week-long game. So even though I experienced a reality game, you can't really fully prepare for Reelfoot because it's completely different. The challenges are real. Like some of these challenges are in the CBS show, for instance. Like they really can be. They're tiring. They're exhausting. And Survivor New York, it's you rely on. I see Storm's thing over here.
Storm wishes you were more gullible this season, but alas.
You wish. But you just, some elements of Survivor New York are not in this game. I mean, the hunger in this game, for instance, the sleep, that's something I didn't experience in Survivor New York as much. So it's still a learning curve, this game for me. And I'm just glad that I got to experience it.
Well, so after getting cast for Surviving Reelfoot, how did you prepare for it?
I kind of stopped. I did more cardio because I knew that cardio would be a big part of this season, running and swimming. And I just kind of like watched try to eat a little bit. But keep in mind, I was, in Brazil not too long ago getting married, and I was partying hard there for my wedding. So all that stuff I did before went out the window.
Yeah.
So I probably gained from Brazil and I lost it from this Reelfoot. But I just prepared like making fire with Flint. I did practice that a couple of times. I got a couple of them going on. But then, of course, we'll go into it later. But Megan really took over that role, and she did it great. And so fire wasn't necessarily making for me, even though I was prepared to do it. So fire making was one of them. Cardio, physically working out, and then I just knew that social game was important. That was a huge one. So yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the journey to actually get to Reelfoot, because correct me if I'm wrong, you get married 2 weeks before Reelfoot begins, and you go on your honeymoon, and a lot of things happen between the getting your way between you arriving at Reelfoot.
Yeah, so go to Brazil, get married, have the honeymoon. Supposed to come back to America a little before Reelfoot to get prepared, and then I got COVID in Brazil. So I ended up staying in Brazil a little bit longer than I had to, than I wanted to. I mean, and even though I'm at the beach, I'm having a great time in Brazil. So I just keep on partying, do whatever I want to do. But it's hurting me in the long run for this game. So I get to the game a little bit like, okay, it's time to be serious now. This is a completely different area, like different people vibe. You know what I mean? So you gotta be serious, and yeah, pretty much that's it.
So coming into Reelfoot, did you have an idea of what strategy you wanted to do?
I wanted to back up. There we go. Pizza Angel's nice. I wanted to my strategy was to not be like, don't come off too strong. Don't come off as like, because I'm a big guy, and I don't want to be like, making orders, and it's not my personality either. So it's not something I would do. I just wanted to lay back a little bit and just be there for my team, physically, and try to do many challenges I could do for them. I also wanted to be as social as possible. In the end, this is a very social game. You can mess up in challenges and everything, but if you have a good alliance, they'll push you through. So that was my number one. So when I first got there, my thing was to talk to everybody, and I think that's something everybody should do. Like, even if it's awkward, you know what I mean? Like, because Survivor has different people, all walks of life, really, And this is the first South I've been in America besides Florida, which, it's, I don't know, South. But, I meet a lot of people from the area over there, just different areas, and, you're going to run into people you don't, that I would, run into in New York here all the time. So I want to learn from them. I want to ask them questions, and vice versa with them, hopefully. So I just wanted to get to know people as much as possible, not because only for the game, but also I'm actually interested in, in them. You know what I mean? Like, what's their story and what brought them here. So social was my number one for me.
And what was your luxury item you brought?
I brought a yoga mat, which I'm so happy I did. Yeah, I actually knew somebody who played Surviving Reelfoot back in the day, season 8 in ESSA. And I told her before I was going, I'm playing Reelfoot. She told me, what's your luxury? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. She's like, you got to bring stuff for comfort. So I was like, okay, yoga mat it is. And honestly, that came so clutch. Because, yeah, I can't imagine, like, I think Carly brought a toothbrush, but no toothpaste, So it's kind of like, that was my other item I was thinking about bringing. But, we all are sweating, smelling. I don't think that will really make a difference, So I'm just happy I brought the yoga mat, because we actually shared that as a tribe until we won more luxury items. It was good.
Yoga mat was my luxury item as well. I bought like the thickest padded mat I could find that would qualify as a yoga mat to bring. So
that's what you could do. It really is. So
you eventually show up at the game, and you're blindfolded, you're sequestered, and when the game begins, you're learned that they don't have divisions already. It's gonna be a schoolyard pick. Who ends up picking you for their tribe, and who do you pick afterwards?
Harley picked me, and I picked Megan.
Why Megan?
So before the game started, Megan, Julia, and Lauren were picked up by Patrick, I believe, and we drove to the game. And I just observed the three players in the back, and I just liked the way she carried herself, and I knew that she was going to be a serious player in the game.
Mhm.
And she's strong. She's physically able at anything, So I thought that this would be a good player to have, and I was right about that. The Blue Tribe.
Well,
Yeah.
we're going to talk a lot about Megan because she ends up being like one of the most key players for your game over the course.
Oh yeah.
But so your tribe is selected. You are in the Blue Tribe, the Unoga tribe, and you learn that you immediately need to vote for a player. What for? How come? You don't know.
Yeah.
Who do you vote for and why?
Before this, though, I want to point out I was sequestered in a room
Mhm.
with Drew and Dina, and Dina was very talkative and very nice person. I thought she was a member of production in the beginning, and then we start sharing our candies with each other and everything. And I think we mentioned like the Sour Patch Alliance like this. So when it was Drew's turn to pick somebody, he wanted to go for Dina.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, no, you can't trust her. She talks too much. Everything. Pick that person. And I wanted him to pick Julia
Mm-hmm.
because I got to be honest about this. I knew Julia from playing Survivor New York. She played the same season I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that would be a good ally to have in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up picking her, which I'm sure Dina's very appreciative of because the blue camp was terrible. So she didn't have to deal with that much. So we got Julia through Drew, which is great. Now about the vote, I voted for Barbara. We didn't know what we were voting for at the time, and I didn't think it was bad. I think it was going to be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the person ended up getting was going to be good, which was immunity, which is better than I expected. And I voted for Barbara because I thought Barbara would do something good with it, whatever it was. Bash ends up winning it, and then he has to give a medallion, a pendant, which we ended up calling the Medallion of Karma. And he gave it to me. And he said to me right afterwards, "It's because you're going nowhere."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. I trusted him at that point.
What's so interesting is like, was there any further? Well, I guess was there any further conversation, or did you believe him when he said you're not going anywhere?
I mean, he pretty much told me right there and then, because you're the big guy. We need you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going. Nobody's going to be crazy enough to vote for you. So I took that, and I thought that was really that was the most neutral thing you could do, to be honest. At that point, I thought to myself, So I understood his reasoning. I didn't take any offense to it. So yeah, I ended up getting a vote before we even go to tribal council. So I was not happy about it, but yeah, that made me work extra hard. Like the first few days, I worked extra hard just because I had that thing around my neck.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even wear this thing in rewards, or because I didn't want to remind people I have this. I want them to forget about this.
So you didn't take the Keenan approach, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, I did the opposite. Please forget about it. But that made me work harder. It made me go around camp, made me talk to more people because they told me you're going nowhere, but I don't know these people. You know what I mean? It only takes one person to change their mind, and then I got 2 votes on me. So yeah, that's how I took that approach. Like I have this thing around me. I have to work harder and try to, divert attention.
So after this, you go to your first reward challenge. This is the memory match challenge. How was this for you?
I didn't get anything. I did not get a tile. James impressed me on the Kawanu tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I picked last, but he showed right away what he was capable of. And I was like, I wish he had chosen our tribe because he got to choose which tribe he wanted to go to. So I was hoping he was going to choose us, but I felt like he was going to go to Yellow Tribe, and he did, and it showed like, yeah, he's killing this tribe. I think he got 3 tiles of that one. And I don't know if anybody else on our tribe got 3, but yeah, for me, it didn't do anything.
So one of the things that fascinated me about this first evening is that we get the first batch of confessionals. Yes. And 7 for 7, I feel like I'm pretty sure every single person says, I want to work with Sharif. Like across the board, everyone's naming you as the person to work with. What did you do? What's the secret? I mean, you said you were going to work hard because you already have an extra vote against you, but I was like, my gosh, well, what is Sharif doing? This is amazing.
No, I just wanted to actually get to know people. I really did. And regardless of this, I would have done the same thing. I would have talked to people, but this made me stay up later at night. This made me like try and have side conversations with people, making sure that they were safe,
Mm-hmm.
because they acted like this thing was like a immunity necklace. Like I was going nowhere, but I didn't see it that way. I was like, it just takes one person to throw this off, and it goes on me. Now, I just talked to everybody pretty much, and even in the beginning, like I felt good with everybody, but I gotta be honest, I wasn't sure about Barbara in the beginning. I
Mm-hmm.
would, I would try to talk to Barbara, and I asked her what she feel in this tribe, and she's like, "Not sure yet. I have to come back to you on that." And I was like, "Oh, that's not the answer I want to hear." You know what I mean? Like, just lie to me, even. Just like talk to me a little bit. But so I wasn't sure about Barbara at that point. I know Josh later, warmed up to her, and eventually I did too. But at this point, was not sure about Barbara. Yeah.
Talk me through your impressions about the rest of your first impression or meetings with the rest of the tribe.
hmm Well, Julia, I knew,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that she's a loyal person, very friendly, very smart. So I knew about where Julia stood in this tribe. Uh, Carly, very sweet, but she was pretty quiet, and she kept hanging out with Julia a lot. Those two would hang out quite a bit with each other, and I felt like she could do more around, like just try and talk a little more. But maybe we were just very serious of a tribe. Like I'm looking at some videos from the Kawanu tribe, and they were having fun a lot. And I don't know if it was our camp setting that was made. It was just very serious, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I spoke to her after the game. I saw how she interacted after the game. It was like a different person. She was more talkative. So I think maybe it was a little intimidation, maybe, I don't know, of what was going on around her. Josh, I felt good about right away from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way he carried himself, he spoke to me, and I was like, okay, this is a good person. Like I needed like a shield kind of in this game. I am the biggest guy. There's not gonna be bigger enemy on this tribe, but just the way he spoke and just like like stepped up. He was like the leader type.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Like I thought, okay, good. This guy can create a little diversion from me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. Barbara at this point in the beginning, I wasn't sure about her. Let's see, Bash, wild card. My goodness. I really like Bash as a person, really, but in the
Mm-hmm.
game, he was unpredictable, and I just didn't understand him. The reasonings why he voted in directions he did, I was wondering why he did that,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to not trust him as much. Halfway, like before even the first vote, and we'll go into that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is there? Megan. Megan, of course, I knew that she was going to be a great player, and I liked her a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
she was my, I really wanted to work with Megan very much. So I think Josh and Megan were my top ones at this point.
Were you having a like forthright strategy talks, or is most of the things you're doing most social, get to know people and kind of laying down the tracks right then?
Yeah, just getting to know people. I don't want to leave Drew out, by the way. I forgot to mention him. I like Drew a lot, but he was very, I'm going to say, I think he was very paranoid in the beginning. And, he kind of just like would stay around me quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't really have conversations with people around me without him being there. And at one point, Julia comes up to me and she says, "Are you guys like working together?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I just, he's always following me around. I think he saw me as a shield possibly." And
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of hurting my game a little bit because every time I would go talk to somebody, he would follow me.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, "You gotta let me talk to people." I even had to have this conversation. You gotta let me talk to people and do my thing. I'll talk to you as well. I'll get back to you. So yeah, I like him, but he came out a little bit paranoid in this game, a little bit.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about the end of day one?
End of day one. No, I think we just did tiles and that's it, right? We went to sleep that night. It was freezing that night. I remember like we were all underneath the tarp, and it was like literally like a can of sardines. We're all next to each other like this. And I at this point was like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna sleep at the end, like diagonal from you guys by your guys' feet, because there's no space for me here. And I woke up hours later, shivering cold, and I was like, guys, move over. I'm jumping right between you guys, and just to get some body heat, because that's how cold it was out there, I thought like I was struggling sleeping, but apparently everybody's confessionals, I was sleeping the most. So okay, I mean, I guess I was, yeah, pretty much.
So day two, you kick it off with the SOS challenge, and this goes very well for you and your tribe.
Yeah, Josh took the lead. Carly took the lead in that one. They did great for us, and we won that challenge. I believe pretty easily. The colors by himself, the white and red. I think it was Julia's jacket that really helped, make it a significant difference in this challenge. So we won that one. I think that was the comfort reward challenge, which came so clutch for us because we got extra yoga mats and pillows and even a chair. And just even a couple of these things, they make a huge difference for us in our camp life. Because blue camp, I'm going to reiterate this during the whole interview. Blue camp was awful. And every time we kept thinking, oh, yellow camp must have it just as bad as we do. They did not. But yeah, it was like covered by trees constantly. So when it rained on Monday, it rained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe, and it was just constant, like muddy there because there's no sun to reach the ground there. So sometimes we even go to the field up the path just to get out of this miserable, camp life over here. But those luxury items did help. So that was good to win that challenge.
Now, at this point, both Josh and Barbara have found an idol clue, and they shared this with you, correct?
Did they find
capacity at some point?
I think they found the idol clue on the third challenge, the canoe.
Yeah, so Josh found his idol clue in the bread.
Yes.
That you all had for breakfast that morning. Barbara finds her two clues, one in the chair that comes from this reward. Then she finds the second one in the boat reward that you have.
Yep. They shared those clues with me. So I kept looking everywhere for this thing. Couldn't find it. Later, Drew finds a clue. If I was a little bit more specific, his clue, it was like, by a shredded tree, you will find me, and along the path. And he shared that clue with me. So I just wanted to make sure that Drew didn't find this idol because his name was going around quite a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to jump ahead over here.
Well, no, I guess. What is your general philosophy of idols? Do you want them? Do you want other people to have them? Like, what's your game plan with around idols?
If I ever found an idol, I would keep it and say nothing to anybody. That's my thing. I would play for some people if but in general, like I think to have an idol is great power. As long as it's secretive. If you don't tell anybody, that's great because if you have an idol and people know about it, that makes you the next target. So I just wanted to find it, but I didn't want to be too obvious in finding it either. I feel like you can do better with your social game than an idol. An idol might save you a round, but if you have a good, social game, strong, you're good to go for a while. So I didn't want to be seen looking for idols. Especially at our camp, it was kind of hard to kind of spread around because it's really a path and it's camp right there and then a little path behind there. And if somebody goes look for idols, you just know they're going, they're going. Barbara was very open about it. I'm gonna look for an idol, Bash was looking for idols, I'm sure. Megan was, I'm sure, looking for idols. Megan was going up the path for firewood in the first few days and it ended up not going too far from the fire. And I thought maybe she had it because she stopped going in that direction for firewood, So it was always talked about. If somebody was gone too long, if somebody was in the woods and there was nothing really there, he's looking for an idol. And it just draws attention. That's not necessary, in my opinion, all the
time. Now, you had your next reward challenge. This is the slip and slide challenge. How was this for you?
I was the only one not to score points for my team. I was the first one to go against KC. And I get in my canoe, and the first thing that happens, I flip it over in the canoe. So KC got a good start on me. I get back in the canoe. I get back to the, I actually get the ring. I come back, and I'm actually competing against KC up in the hill to get it on the pole. But he ends up beating me. But my tribe, they killed it. Everyone. So,
when you were looking at the Noga tribe, were you worried about your prospects and challenges, or you think like, now this or was this tribe like you thought was going to be a winner throw them all?
No, I thought they had a huge advantage actually. To be honest, the yellow tribe Kuanu, I thought they were. I just felt like they were like at our tribe, Megan was capable, Bash was capable. Everybody's capable, but like physically, there are some people that said, I cannot do this, or really, I'm not good at this. Like Josh was one of the first people to say my ankle hurts. So I really, I'm going to prioritize my ankle over this, for instance, this challenge. Drew, he killed in that slip and slide canoe challenge, but he didn't go in with great confidence. So this is the words that people were saying, like, oh, this and this, I just felt like, maybe this other tribe is, a little bit stronger physically than us. But then we end up winning 3 rewards in a row, which surprised me. And I was happy about it. Like, oh, maybe I was wrong about this, but yeah. So from the beginning, I was kind of like a little bit worried about it, but we held our own for a while.
Now, you mentioned how you knew Julia from Survivor New York, and you had some quick conversation with her early on, but she really kept to her and Carly, it seems like, for the most part. Talk to me about your relationship with her in this early stage of the game, and what you two were talking about.
Well, I told her I'm working with you. I mean, it'd be stupid not, if we know each other, to go against each other. And that was my plan. Like, it really was my plan to work with Julia. I spoke to her even after the game, because obviously this is not what happened. And my plan was to keep it quiet. I never said even to anybody I played a reality game before, because maybe it's not necessary, but like some people said that they did, and some people come up to me like, they've played before. I mean, it's not their first rodeo. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, who cares? So this made me not want to say anything. And if I said I know somebody, like Julia, they might be saying, who else does he know or something? So I just kept it on the wraps. Me and Julia said, let's keep this, on the DL, and we'll just work together. So every time I talk to somebody, I'll go back to Julia. Hey, this was happening. So I gave her a bunch of information what was going on. So yeah.
And then at what point, like around day 2, were you kind of having a better rapport with Barbara?
It happened right before the Drew vote. So this is the Drew vote comes up. So I'll just jump ahead to the first immunity challenge.
Yeah, if you want to fast forward, let's go for it.
Yeah, because that's kind of where me and Barbara start talking towards more. So the first immunity challenge is the one where we have the planks, I believe. And Drew decided to take charge of this one, which he did.
Okay, it's the last reward challenge. Yeah.
Is this the reward challenge?
Yeah, this is the floor is lava reward challenge. We have to put the planks over, to memorize the pattern, to come back over the planks to recreate the pattern.
Okay, I thought this was immunity, but okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so
I have been much more steeped in this game than all of you. Don't worry.
All right, so this is okay. So up until then, Drew was rubbing people off the wrong way a little bit, but I think that this was his real downfall. That he kind of lost it during the instructions that he was trying to give to us about this challenge, the floor is lava with the planks, and he wanted us to get in a row, line up, and it's just we weren't really fast enough to do that, I guess, and he kind of like lost his cool. And I get it, he was tired, but we were tired too. We're all in the same boat. We all had very little to eat. We barely slept. So when somebody was yelling at you, like, not maybe yelling, but like just frustrated and speaking in that kind of tone, it just rubbed people even more the wrong way. And that kind of did it for him, unfortunately, So, so that was that one, which is not immunity. So I forget the first immunity challenge, to be honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, so after this reward challenge, your tribe wins also. Was Drew's name a lock for the target, or is it still kind of nothing was hard and certain at that point for you?
It was pretty locked on Drew at the point. So this is around when Drew shares his idol clue with me, where he wants me to help him look for it, because I've made Drew pretty comfortable at this point that he's fine and the vote's on Julia, right? So he shares this clue with me, and we're looking by this tree, and I can't find it. And his clue, I thought, was very specific by this one particular tree, even more so than Barbara's and Josh's clue. I'm looking for it, I just can't find it. And my plan was for him not to have it, because if he has it, then the vote, will look like it could be Julia, which I didn't want. And also, so I couldn't find it. So anyway, I decided to talk to Bash, because I thought Bash was a little bit of a wild card, and I wanted him to be on my side at least. So I shared a clue with Bash that Drew shared with me, and it was, someone in the street area. Okay, time goes on, and I must have finished my confessional up on the passageway, or I went to the field to dry my clothes or something. As I'm walking down, I see Bash and Drew talking to each other. Didn't think anything of it. I walk past them, and all of a sudden, Drew goes, "You told him?" And I'm just like, I was like, so my back's facing them. I'm like, fucking Bash in my head, like, seriously. So I turn around and I see Drew's face, like upset with me. And the only way I could spin it right there and then, which I prepared for in my head, if this ever happened, you know what I mean? It's just like, Drew, you can't fall for these tricks. Bash should be going around to everybody in camp saying this exact same thing, but you fell for it? Come on, man. So I pretended to really get mad at Drew. In reality, I wasn't. He should have been mad at me. But I pretended like he messed up. Now Bash knows he has a clue to a hidden media idol somewhere. So I just make, and then Drew looks at Bash and says, "Is it true?" And it's like, well, now I know. So I said to him, Drew, you gotta let me talk to Bash now, do some damage control, because now Bash knows that I knew about your clue and I didn't disclose that to him. So I go to Bash, not too far, and I say to him, and he says to me, "Nice save on that one." I was like, "No, that was terrible. Like, why would you say that?" He's like, "I didn't say your name. I said somebody." I said, "Bash, so far that I know, I'm the only person Drew told to about this idol thing. Somebody means me." He kept saying, "I didn't say your name." I'm like, "Okay, dude, I can't work with you." So I kind of left that one like on a bad note with Bash, which obviously not a good thing. And then I kind of left that group, and I see Bash go back up to Drew, and Drew feels duped by Bash at this point. And exactly.
That's when Bash. Drew says that's when Bash tries to start to flip things on you now.
Exactly. That's when Bash wanted to change something and go for me. I'm assuming, which I saw Bash's interview, and it was right. So I saw Drew go, "There's not enough time for that." But at this point, Drew feels like Bash just duped him into telling me he had an idol. So I didn't think that Drew was going to line up with anyway. But just seeing that Bash was, changed the plan up, and that Drew said, "There's not enough time for that," he was really trying to switch something up. So that got me worried. And I said to myself, okay, now I have to put an extra vote on Julia. Not that Drew will play an idol and to vote for me, but if Drew found the idol, you know what I mean? Or if Bash found the idol and played it for Drew, possible, I don't know. Bash will vote for me, and that will be 2 votes against 1 vote Julia, and every vote will be on Drew, which doesn't mean anything because he has an idol played for him for Bash. So I had to have an insurance policy in my head in case Bash plays an idol that he just found recently. At least there's another vote, on Julia. So that's why I voted on Julia on that one. Yeah, but that was kind of the end. Like I wanted to try and work with Bash, but that was not happening after that.
Were you surprised that Drew didn't mark you with the medallion?
No, because I voted with Drew on Julia, and that was also my other plan. Like if I had voted for Drew and see every vote was for him, I think he would have marked me then, because I worked a lot on Drew. Like I was with him a lot, and I was looking for idol with him, and I still vote for him. I think he would give me. But when he left, he asked who else voted for Julia, and I did the nod like this, like like I got blindsided by this or something. I wanted him to give it to Barbara at this point. Oh, thank you, Drew. I liked you too, Drew. Just sorry it didn't work out this way in the game. But yeah, I just wanted him to give the vote to Barbara, the medallion to Barbara, because my next thing, my next plan really was to go after Barbara with Julia and Carly. So when we left that tribal council where Drew got voted out, I went up to Julia and I told her, "Hey, I voted for you, by the way." And she got a little upset with me, but I told her my plan, but now Barbara has that thing on her because, and then it just needs you, me, and Carly to vote on Barbara, and she's out. So you need a majority. That was my plan.
So why did that plan not happen?
Well, right before, during that second loss, Barbara's really started talking to me quite a bit more. And I felt more comfortable working with Barbara at this point. Barbara wasn't no more a target of mine. and Barbara was really good with Josh. And if I had gone after Barbara, I would really upset Josh. I mean, Josh was even calling her mama bear around camp, you know what I mean? So he felt really like that's his close ally, you know? So I don't want to do that to Josh either, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really want to work with Josh. And, you know, I wanted to work with Megan. Bash was out of the question for me at this point. So I said to myself, I want to go for Bash in this round. Bash came up to me and Josh, and he put up some emotional performance, really. Like, he brought, you know, the puppy eyes of him saying, I feel really left out, you know, you guys keep me on the outs here, which I definitely did, because after the other one, I didn't want to talk to him no more, really, after, you know, he kind of like blew my spot with Drew.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, instead of bringing his luxury item as a Ziploc bag, he really should have brought a violin, because he was really giving a performance. Like, he was seriously like playing the sad card. And I think that Josh felt really bad for him at this point, and Josh even thanked him. Thank you for letting me know, you know, like. And I was like, okay, I'm not really buying this, but, you know, what does this mean? Like, it means Julia is next. So I was like to Megan, like, what do you think about voting Bash out as well? And she's like, I can't vote out a strong player at this point. You know what I mean? Which I understood too. So I didn't want to ruffle everybody's feathers, you know what I mean? Because I already voted differently in the first tribal council. So I just felt to myself, you know, that was the biggest mistake of the game, I think. The biggest mistake. My biggest regret was going for Julia and not Bash. That was our chance to do it, and we messed that one up. And it's not just strategy. It was also like, it sucks. You know, you have to vote out somebody. First of all, voting out somebody sucks. Somebody you know and you actually like, and, you know, that sucks even worse, you know? So that was my low point of the game, voting out Julia.
Why vote out Julia over Carly?
I think that was the name mentioned more, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the name. And Julia was also bothering Barbara quite a bit at this point. The way she was blown on fire. And also, one thing about Julia, and really, I love Julia. She's such a great person, smart person. But I remember when we had just won our luxury items, and Barbara and Josh were sharing a blanket. And I remember I was by the fire, and Julia approached Barbara and Josh and said, I have to advocate for myself. I want that blanket so I can lay on top of it. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, Julia, no, like, read the room. Don't, you know what I mean? And then if looks could kill, Barbara and Josh both looked at her and just kind of turned away. And she's like, oh, never mind. And I told her, you can't do this. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she just had a moment. She wasn't thinking, you know, at that moment. And, you know, just small things like this, you know. And I think the challenge where we stood on the plank, all of us together, she might have hit a few planks, I heard, and they dropped. That annoyed maybe a few people, but I don't think that was I don't think that was a big thing. I think that it was just to keep our tribe strong.
So had your tribe lost in their challenge, who would you have voted for?
Bash. Oh yeah, I heard Josh's interview with you, and he said he would bring Carly. I would not have gone for Carly. I think that Bash had his chances then, and I would have gone for Bash 100%. And I don't think Megan would have a problem going for Bash at this point, because he voted for Megan during the Julia vote, which was so random. You know, I didn't understand that vote. Like, I even mentioned after the Julia vote, we walked out, tribal council, and I said, who voted for Megan? You know what I mean? Because I also didn't want them to think that maybe I diverted from the plan again. You know what I mean? I wanted somebody to, you know, and then right there and then Bash says, I did. You know, and then Megan's like, what? Why? You know what I mean? And it didn't make sense. And I think if we had gone to tribal council one more time, Megan wouldn't have a chance. You have to ask her, of course, but I don't think she would have a problem voting Bash out in that round. Yeah.
Well, was it? I can't remember. Was the discussion with you and Bash, or was it Josh and Bash after that tribal council
about
just like his vote and what happened?
That him voting for Megan?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have that conversation with Bash.
Okay, that's been Josh then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you're looking at the end of day 3, how would you rank your tribe in like most to least importance for your game?
Josh, Megan, Barbara, Carly, Bash for me. Yeah.
And it's interesting because like your alliance with Megan's really a 1-on-1 alliance. It's not kind of like with you, Barbara, and Josh. It's not kind of a greater alliance.
Yeah, we even said let's keep a little separation between us. You know what I mean? Like, not always be. You know what I mean? Just like, it's an alliance, but not an obvious one, you know. And I told her stuff, she told me stuff, so it worked out really well, that alliance.
Were you expecting to receive the medallion after the Julia vote?
Yes.
Okay.
I was expecting it, and I would have deserved it. I feel like I was surprised she gave it to Josh. Yeah, I think she still wanted me to do well. That's how nice she is. She really is. But I was a little bit surprised. I thought that she'll even say out loud, "I know Sharif" or something like that. You know, I was preparing to even explain that to my tribe after tribal council. So
now Josh ends up going to orchestrate a tribe swap with Angela. And let's say you did receive the medallion, and so you were at that summit instead of Josh. What in your perfect world, what would your new tribe have looked like?
not much different than Josh's, to be honest. I would have kept Barbara and Josh because Megan made it very clear to me she wanted Josh out. You know what I mean? Eventually, she said, eventually. And later on, I do too, but not at this point. You know, so I thought to myself, we got to stick strong. You know what I mean? And me, Barbara, and Josh would be the best way to do it. So I would have done the exact same thing Josh did, to be honest. There, and I remember going to that swap, hoping that there's gonna be like a random shuffle, and I was just hoping that it was gonna be in my favor, that I was gonna be in the upper. You know what I mean? More blues on the tribe than yellow. And then to our surprise, both tribes are going to have 4 yellow, 3 blues, which I thought, oh, good. Like, we're screwed on both sides now of this.
Well, you receive a gift in your new tribe, and that gift's name is KC.
Yes. So as we were walking back to camp, I'm thinking to myself, how are we going to turn this around? We have 4 yellow and 3 blue. It didn't take long. As soon as I'm walking down, I get a tug on my shoulder like this, and it's KC. And he says, "I'm ready to jump ship with you guys. They duped me so, you know, in the last tribal council. I didn't see it coming. I'm ready to get them all." And I said to myself, this is just too good to be true. Like, I thought this was an act. Like, you know, I really thought for some reason Casey was the leader of that tribe. I thought he was running things. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought he was doing really well for himself there. So when he came to me and said this, I thought this is one of their moves, you know, like they're going to try me, you know, try to have me vote in a certain way and then surprise us and vote one of us out. Not too long after that, Josh looks at me. He's walking ahead with Dina or off to the side. And Josh looks at me. He's like, I think we're good. I think we're good with Dina. And I'm just like, you got to hear Casey's story on this too, because it seems like, you know, Casey has something to say. So then we switch spots, me and Josh. Josh talks to Casey. I talk to Dina. And Dina is also like, you know, I couldn't understand it. They were 4 yellow. They should have stuck strong to each other, at least for a round. You know, I thought this was like pretty dysfunctional. Like 4 yellow, 3 blue. It's pretty easy what I would do if I was on their side. But they were ready to turn on each other. And that was like surprising, really surprising.
Talk me through your initial impressions of Dina, Casey, James, and Keenan.
Okay, so Dina really surprised me. She is very social, very funny, very nice person. I mean, of course, I thought everybody in this game is nice, but when I first, you know, was sequestered with her, I thought to myself, oh, she is loud. She is maybe a little bit annoying. I could see her as being like, you know, on the bottom of her tribe. But then when she came to our tribe, it showed like she was like a leader of her own, you know, and she was ready to, she was social. She was good at everybody. She was funny. Like she was like much needed in our blue camp. She was just like great, you know. It's great to have. Keenan was doing voice impersonations, which was awesome. A little humor here and there. James, I really like James. I think everybody in this cast loves James. Just such a good guy. You know, talking about his stutter of us, you know, and I spoke to him a little bit about this myself. You know, I told James like, hey, let's have a talk, but not about the game. Let's just talk about, you know, life and stuff like that. Because I used to have a stutter too back in the day. So I was just like, you know, let's see what he overcame. So yeah, we had a good talk. And then Casey, obviously, you know, Casey was ready to turn on yellow. So it was just fun to talk to him.
We have a question from Storm. It's a little jumping ahead, but did someone send Casey over the whisper in Megan's ear that Ryan had an idol after the raft challenge? Is this something that you were a part of?
Not that I know of, no. Not that I know of. Actually, Dina told me Ryan had an idol.
When did that happen?
During the swap. Dina was trying to, so it was clear that yellow was not working with each other no more. You know, at a certain point, I was accepting like this is really these yellow are not together. So I started taking their conversations with me more seriously. And Casey's story seemed really legit, and I felt like he was really in the outs. He also told me that the girls were running the yellow camp, Dina with Angela and Lauren. And I thought to myself, talking to Dina, she said to me, if we get to merge, I'll get you this far in the game. So it showed to me that she had some power over there. Josh looked at each other like we have to take her out. Even though we really like her a lot to be here, she's just too dangerous to be around. Like if she unites with Lauren and Angela again, this promise she made. I mean, to Josh, she would have kept it. With me, she would not have kept it. And even if she did, I didn't want that. I felt like this is a losing game. She's going to be united with those three over there. That's it. So we had to kind of like, for that reason, because Casey told me the girls were running the show over there, and I could really see it from Dina's personality that she's really social, and I could see her mesh with those girls really well. She had to go.
Were you tempted to throw challenges at all?
I'm sorry?
Were you tempted to throw challenges to protect Megan and the Noga and the other tribe? And, well, then you can get rid of 2 of the yellow tribe members.
Oh, to throw a challenge, you mean?
Yeah.
No, we couldn't do that. No, we spoke about it before the swap even happened. Like, would we throw? But I think we all said it to each other in hopes that the other person would do it in case that happened. But throwing a challenge, I think it just backfires, and so we wouldn't do that. I thought Megan was safe, regardless. I thought Bash would be more in trouble than Megan.
Were you anticipating Bash jumping ship like he did?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I knew he would do it. I just didn't know that they would take him that far. Yeah.
Now, one of the things your tribe's to do that for your brand new tribe gets to do that night is you get to make a raft. Can you talk a bit about the strategy and the planning behind the wonderful raft your tribe made?
Our raft sucked. It was just like a plump of bamboo sticks together, tied together. But we said to each other, if it floats, it's fine. We're not going to worry about making it look nice. Like if you see yellow tribe raft, that looks like a legit raft. It's nicely done, but they put a lot of time and energy into it. And we said it's probably for a leg of the race. If anything, as long as it floats, we're good.
So talk to me about that fishing for immunity challenge. Where were you in this challenge and how did it go?
This is the one we swim towards a raft and get. Yeah, okay. I was the last one on the furthest raft to getting the fishes untied. I thought I did okay in the swimming part. I tried to make up time because Josh took quite a while untying the knots. Casey would go there and untie the knots and then go back and he had it untied and he went back to put the fish nicely back on the raft. I said, Casey, what are you doing? Just not Casey, Keenan. Come on, just forget about that. And I see Storm in the background. No, take your time. So I was like, who is this guy, first of all? So I remember take his time. And it's like, no, come on, Keenan, let's get going. But we did really well in that one. That's the one where we had a puzzle towards the end, right?
Yes, this is the one where you have to do the word scramble of victory at sea.
Yes, Josh is a liability. Josh caught it really early what the phrase was, and he kept jumping and everything. And it was close between him really actually mentioning it out loud that I think Nate in production, they told Josh, turn around and just don't look at anything, I was really worried. I just didn't want to lose another immunity challenge right there. And I was really happy that James and I'm not sure who else.
Casey was on the puzzle too.
Yeah, Casey, they did really well for us. My job for this was just to cover the puzzle up. Me and Josh, we just kind of blocked the puzzle because I thought they were getting close, but I didn't want the other tribe to see. So they killed it.
Now, how surprised were you that Carly was the one eliminated from the other tribe?
Yeah, kind of saw it coming. I thought Bash would have had a good chance. I thought Megan was going to be fine with the girls. I wasn't worried about her. I think she's going to mesh with the girls very well, and she's strong, and they need her for future challenges. Same thing with Bash, So when I saw Carly gone, I was like, yeah.
Now, at this point in the game, are you idol hunting at all, or do you kind of just assume someone else has it?
I really thought it was gone. I
Mhm.
really thought that. I thought at this point Megan had it,
Mhm.
idol, and I thought maybe that might be the reason why she's still there. She's trying to work with the girls a little bit or something. I don't know, but I was pretty certain, and I was wrong, very wrong. But nobody had found the idol, and I
Mhm.
was certain it was gone by then. It seemed like impossible. The clues we had all the clues, and it's just gone,
Mhm.
like where we think of where it's supposed to be. So, yeah, I just stopped looking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now Josh also found the mutiny advantage. Did he share that with you?
Yes, he did. Yeah, I didn't think anything of it at the time because I thought there was going to be one swap. I didn't think about a second swap. So we kind of just like, whatever. I'm glad he kept it and not throw it away. Like he maybe thought it or said in your interview with you.
Mhm.
But yeah, it came very handy for him later.
Were you having any like major one-on-one conversations with any of the Keenan, James, Dean, or KC? Were you trying to like build a strong relationship with any of those players in particular?
Casey,
Mhm.
Casey, you know, um, I felt like Casey was in the outs at this point, and James, Keenan, and Dino were not.
Mhm.
So if we can work with KC, he switches to blue. You know that's the best outcome for us. James Keenan, they voted on Megs, I believe. So I think Casey had more of a reason, to be upset with them and go with us against them.
Mhm.
He was our main target to keep. Yeah.
So your next immunity challenge this is the Pete's Palooza that involves running, answering trivia questions, and then shooting a ball into a hoop at the very end. This is a close call, but doesn't go well for your tribe.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, this is the one where Josh found a fake idol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we I had the fifth box, the fifth furthest running one out there. Casey took the furthest one. I took the next one, and we all, I think we all did pretty well on the questions. And then shooting the ball, me and Josh were the last ones, and that was tough. Like I play basketball on a consistent basis. I love basketball, but
That ain't no basketball though.
no basketball. It is like a completely different sport, and I just kept missing it, and I couldn't figure out what the hell. So even just shooting like this, it didn't do anything. I was even running towards it and then just throwing it up there. I got mine towards the end. Then it was just Josh versus Ryan, which Ryan took over. So we lose that one. And that was a tough one. Like I remember the running part. I think it's the storm on the ground one point. We were all struggling. The running and the heat of this day was intense. So that was like a lot of stuff going on, a lot of legs just for one challenge. And yeah, we couldn't pull that one off.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing is that as we're walking back to camp, Josh tells me he found an idol, and I'm like, okay, great. It's not a clue because because he didn't open up yet, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
but he felt something in there. It was not a clue. It was not paper. It was actually an idol feeling. So he
Mm-hmm.
tells me this. I'm like, yeah, good. Finally, we got something on our side. Then later we find out it's not a real idol. It's a
It's
fake idol.
legit fake idol.
Seriously, yeah, legit fake idol. So that was a little bit like, damn, we could have really used that one because we're about to go up in this, tribal council, and I'm not sure what's going to happen right now. To be honest, I saw Dina kind of lingering back on this challenge when we lost it, hoping maybe Ryan would give her something. I kept paying attention to Dina, making sure that Ryan, there was no handoff of an idol or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't happen. It didn't happen. So yeah, we all went back pretty much empty-handed except for Joshua's fake idol, which is empty-handed too. Really.
So talk to me about the strategy going into this vote. How solidified were you that you need to vote Dina out, and what were you telling and what were you doing during this time?
We decided it had to be Dina. She was very social and she was going to connect with the other players again.
Dina asked to talk more about her.
Yeah, no, she had to go. She was the most out of all of them. I think she was the most dangerous because she was very likable. She was funny. If it wasn't the information that Casey gave to us, you know what I mean, I think we would have kept Dina. But we could have gone for Keenan, even, which was talked about, but it was like it doesn't make sense to give Dina a chance to go unite with the girls back there because then they're gonna run the show. You know what I mean? So we told Dina it would be. I think we told her it was going to be KC, and we told the guys James and Keenan to vote for each other. I believe,
Mm-hmm.
it's been a little while, so I forget maybe the exact details, but we pretty much blindsided every one of them except for KC in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had some explaining to do after that. And they all followed through with what they said they would do. They all did it,
Mm-hmm.
which was, when we first started the swaps, there are 4 yellows and 3 blues on each side. You would think more blues would be taken out.
Mm-hmm.
The only casualty of the blue tribe was Carly. Everybody else was voted out yellow, which is surprising to me. So yeah, Dina goes home, and then we talk to the guys, try and smooth it out a little bit, and then that was it pretty much for that.
Well, what were they? I guess I'll start with. Were you thinking the merge was soon?
Yeah, if I was real soon. I believe somebody mentioned how many holes, the tribal council, like how there were, and there were 10, I believe. So we thought that's when it would happen. But yeah, it was just a guessing game for us. We had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And were James and Keenan's like, what were they like? Were they promising to work with you, or were they like, what were they saying in response to just being blindsided?
They understood. They said, as long as it wasn't me, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Then I tried to solidify, hey, us guys right here, let's just keep this group right here together and go against them. Just try something, you know what I mean? Because we're still outnumbered by, original yellow and blues. So we have to try something. But yeah, I think that they were fine with it, to be honest. Just a little bit surprised by the vote, how it went. But yeah, pretty good.
You get the medallion back again as a result of this vote. Were you surprised by that?
No, I saw it coming. I even took my hat off, and I was like expecting it. I didn't know that Dina knew Josh. I did not know that, and she just announced it to everybody. And she still didn't give the medallion to him because, like Julia, she wants me. Julia wanted me to go further, and I'm sure Dina wanted Josh to do very well too. After that tribal council, Josh comes up to me and says, "Hey, I would have told you about Dina this," and I was like, "It's not a big deal to me because that actually I appreciate that because I did the same thing with Julia. I voted somebody I knew in the game. You know what I mean? And he did the same thing, so it kind of showed me we're on the same page. We're actually playing the game together and not letting past relationships influence this current game right now. So I was fine with that.
Do you think Dina secretly gave me an advantage because you have this amulet at the merge tribal council? Casey will give you immunity, and then that'll help protect you. And
it worked out great. It even worked out for the second swap. I didn't have to go choose another buff. I believe Carly gave Angela the medallion.
Yep.
And I got the medallion from Dina. So on the second swap, neither of us had to pick one. So she stayed yellow automatically, and I stayed blue, which was great for me, So that medallion was actually a good thing for me to have because like you said, in the merge, it helped me a lot.
So let's talk about the second swap, or rather, you get tree mail and it says, "Hey, there's a challenge. Come for the challenge." And you arrive at the challenge site, and things kind of go south fast.
So we get another swap here, right? And we get Megan back, and we get Storm. And
you don't only get those two; you get someone else on top of that. You keep Keenan, I suppose.
Okay. So we go up to the site, and Angela gives Keenan the mutiny advantage. Pretty sure she regrets giving it to him. I think she would have gave it to Storm if she had known the second swap would happen. But he takes that advantage and he uses it. And Barbara stepped up and said, "Don't use it. Don't play it. You know what I mean? Stay with us." And he just was ready to get the hell out of there. And it could have been a very different game if he had stayed in it, to be honest. But so he switches back to yellow. Josh did the same thing. Thank goodness he kept that advantage because he uses it to go back to blue. So now we have a new tribe: me, Megan, Josh, Barbara, and Storm. And go back to camp, and
there's one other thing that happens, right? There's a handoff.
Oh, it
with
happened right
Ryan
there?
and the
I'm
Storm.
sorry, it happened right there. What happened at the immunity challenge? Okay.
Well, the immunity challenge and the and the swap.
Oh, we
turn,
did
right?
the challenge right after that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so we had the bag challenge, which I hate those challenges, anything above your arm.
Hmm.
And that was a tough one, a real tough one. But Angela drops her shoulder a little bit, I believe, and
Yeah.
they pretty much lose that one. And I see Ryan go to, it's pretty obvious. He goes to Storm and gives him something. And yes, the one of many, Storm. And I see it. It's very clear what he's doing. But and I knew that Ryan had an idol because Dina told me. So I have the medallion on me, and I'm like, shit. Like, I mean, if only if Megan really, if I hope Megan didn't switch sides, like, because it could be a tie, But I remember looking at Ryan and Storm, and Ryan just looks at me like happy, It's like I'm like, shit. Okay, this could be a real idol handoff over here.
Hmm.
So we go back to camp, and I can see Storm and Megan's face. They're upset of being there. Megan upset first of all because Keenan messed up our Flint. She's like, "Are you serious? This is also the case in the Yellow Cap camp." And Storm is just complaining about this camp as much as I have been at this point. I mean, the camp is small, it's muddy, it's
We haven't talked about the camp that much yet. Talk about how lovely it transformed after the rain.
After the rain.
Yeah, because the rain made it special, right?
The rain was just awful. It was absolutely awful. Rain or not, it was just not a good camp. It was always kind of covered by leaves and trees, kind of darkish, and we made a mistake of putting a fire pit. And once you put the fire pit down, you can't change the location of it. And it was kind of a bad place we put it. I kind of regret we put it there. We should have put behind our tent. But it was just miserable, Like I remember when we had in our first trap swap, it was me, Keenan, James, and Casey and Josh and Barbara, and it was raining so much this one night, and this tarp is just covering all of us, but just barely. We're all like can of sardines next to each other. Honestly, you cannot lay on your back and the next person lays on their back. This is not happening. Everyone has to kind of switch their location. So I had to be extra closer to James. And poor James, he's claustrophobic. And every time I got closer, he was just like uncomfortable. I could tell. I just felt bad for him. And this was the same case here. Now we have maybe less people, but like we have Storm, who's another big guy like me. And it was raining so much, our legs and feet were hanging out of the tent at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, it was pretty miserable. And I could see in his face that he was not happy with this camp. And then I asked Megan, is the yellow camp really that much better? And she's like, yeah, it's that much better. So, okay. It was established. The yellow camp had a better site than we did. Yeah.
Talk to me about Storm. I feel like you two are kind of similar.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. Storm, very friendly, and he worked hard, I must say, on trying to manipulate stories here and there. He told me about his idol, and he told me about, and which I thought was weird. Why would you tell me about an idol? Let us vote for you. You can have your way, vote every direction you want. If you have an idol, you're safe. So I thought that was a little weird. But then again, I thought to myself, Casey was telling me the girls were running on the yellow camp. So maybe he wasn't out there. Maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's trying to get good with us. I have no idea. He said he had a paper that established that idol he had was real.
Mm-hmm.
And we had seen it. But the idol he had was a skull of a squirrel with some twine. Now, I mean, you're in the woods back there. You can easily find a squirrel skull out there. So I wasn't really convinced with that. But then he'll tell stories about how Bash is just kind of like bashing us over there. That's where the Holy Trinity got born,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, Bash, that's pretty smart. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of makes more sense now why you're good with them. So yeah. But otherwise, this is the very beginning of me and Storm. We're just like, just to getting to know him there, and yeah, that was it. Gone for Storm. I would gone for Storm and tell Storm and Megan to go for KC.
Mm-hmm.
in case this idol was real, in
Mm-hmm.
case, because I had one vote against me. So if they put 2 votes in KC, I'll be safe at least if the idol that Storm had was real.
Did you really think that Megan had flipped the other side?
She came back a little bit more. I felt that she had something in the works there for sure, absolutely. I felt like if she had not swapped back to blue, she would have been okay at yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I think the girls were good with her, so I'm pretty sure that she came back with more options. And I felt like the coming back to blue kind of got her nervous because it would mess up her future plans. I thought to myself at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't disclose that information, I believe, at this time to mean that she had, good connections over there. So yeah.
Did you kind of get this from what she was saying or what she was not, from what she wasn't saying about her experience?
Yeah. She just seemed a little disappointed to be back.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, maybe she was disappointed to be back at the camp life, but I thought it was a little bit more than that. I thought that she had something in the works there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So day 5 ends up being a really good day. All right, because you got to look at that, because you probably, what's weird about your tribe is it's practically your blue tribe all over again, plus KC and Storm. And the other tribe is all yellow plus Sebastian's and Bash. You're kind of like,
Yeah.
like you're just like, if he goes, he goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you have that first. So you have that first tribal council that day, and you then go to your next immunity challenge. And who do you expect that? You probably expect Bash to be gone.
Shocked.
And then you
Very
see
impressed.
him there, and you see James gone.
Yeah, very shocked. I was not expecting that at all. I thought Bash would be gone for sure. Even Storm's face was like, oh, like he was surprised, like, okay. I gotta give it to Bash. He really got himself out of a tough situation there. It's very impressive what he was able to do. I of course was a little upset because I was like, this time Bash is gone. Yeah, nice, but no, he was still there. So,
and then you have the blindfold challenge.
Yeah.
How was this challenge for you?
Well, apparently I think I got 3 pieces on this challenge. I actually liked the challenge. I thought it was fun. I heard Barbara in the background constantly, like, what about me? Apparently there was like something like and I was kept going around it. Apparently I heard, but I had no idea, of course. But that went really well. And I was surprised to see that the yellow tribe, they had everything reversed, which I thought maybe it's them doing it on purpose. I wasn't sure. I was a little confused about this. But yeah, so we ended up winning this challenge and sending Kawano back to tribal council.
And so do you think this time Bash will go home?
For sure. I was like, oh, okay, he's gone, right? Storm's like, yeah, this time I think he's gone. Okay, cool.
And you get to the merge and you look at the Kawano tribe.
Like, I was like, ooh, Keenan. They brought Keenan back with the advantage, and then they vote him out. I was like, woo, that's a tough one. And they keep Bash, and I was like, okay, this is like, I can't believe it. What is he still doing here? And it's clear at this point, like Bash is completely like gone to yellow. And I was just like confused. I was impressed, but really like, I can't believe this guy's still here. Yeah.
So looking at the merge, 10 players left, 5 Inoga, 5 Kawano, 5 blue, 5 yellow. KC has jump sides to you. Bash clearly jump sides to them. What were you thinking at this point?
Well, you would think it'd be a tie, right? 5-5, but I knew what was happening. Megan started telling me, I knew that that it would be on Josh at this point. I had the medallion, and this is where Josh and I were talking about, like, maybe I don't know what to do. I'll be target, but so is Lauren, And then Josh says something like, we can ask KC, who just wanted immunity, to give it to you. I was like, there's no way he'll do that. And he says, well, maybe he will if I give him the fake items, psych them out. And so KC does agree to this plan, which is great. And this idol play, it was a fake idol that Josh had. It wasn't even a real one, but I guess they got them thinking, and they went the other route, which was Josh. Now, Megan at this point told me, like, I went to Megan before all this happened, and I said, "Hey, are you with us? Blue, and take out Bash. We'll, just take him out." And she told me she's not gonna do that. She's gonna vote with the yellow on this one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be on Josh. And I was, of course, I was a little disappointed, but I said to myself, like, okay, well, there's no point. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're outnumbered here. So the other blue thought that she was voting with them, but I knew that wasn't going to happen, and I knew it was going to be Josh. And honestly, I did want Josh gone, but not then.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Josh gone because I thought he was a very good talker, and if he gets to the end, he has a very good chance of winning. I thought to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we played very similar games too, me and Josh, because we were on the Blue Tribe together from Saturday to Wednesday. So we were with each other a lot, and we always talked amongst each other and agreed on the same thing. So we played the same game. So if I'm in my head, I'm thinking he has to go eventually, but just not now. So yeah. By the way, before I jump to this one, this is on Wednesday, and I still get to meet new people. It's
Yeah.
Angela.
So you're meeting 3 people for the first time, right? You've never met Angela, Lauren, or Ryan.
Yeah, it was crazy because it's so many days into the game, and I still get to meet new people. You know what I mean? I was expecting not to like Ryan, to be honest. Like,
Really?
yeah, I was expecting not to like him. I heard between him and Casey, they were butting heads on camp, and I just felt like like I'm not gonna get along with this guy. But when we get to camp, Ryan is a really, really nice guy. I mean, honestly, everybody is, but he's such a good guy. And I just judged him, based on like him giving the idol to Storm and kind of smiling at me. You know what I mean? He's like rubbing in my face here. I felt to myself. But we made the camp together. We put the tarp up together. And I was just talking to him about soccer and just like, what a good guy, seriously. So Angela, I thought she was very nice, had a good laugh with her. And same thing with Lauren. I got along with every one of them. So it was very like refreshing to see new faces in the game, and just our world got a little bigger. And then the campsite there was just great. The yellow campsite. So yeah, we go to tribal council. I know.
I have a couple more questions before we get to tribal council. I'm going to back you up a little.
Sorry.
How was your merge feast? Applebee's.
The best. Oh, I had a great time there.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. I think did I finish? I don't know if I finished my burger because honestly, it was just like it just kept eating so fast, and we're all there together. And this is where I learned that the jury had been started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know that James and Keenan were on the jury now. So I was like, oh, this is even better. We're all in the game to the very end here,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a great time. I drank quite a few champagne, whatever, even broke a glass there. Yeah, I thought there would be an idol clue there somewhere, but I didn't find it. So Storm found that one, I'm sure.
But then Storm shares it with you.
Yeah, he shared it. All right, so I did jump a lot. I'm sorry. Okay, so we get back to camp after the merge feast, and me and Ryan build the second tarp of our luxury items we won from Blue Camp. We brought over to Yellow, and Storm comes to me later and says, "Hey, I can't really trust Yellow Trap anymore because have you seen what happened to Casey and James once they swapped? And guess what? They were voted out." So and I was like, okay, sure, Storm. That's why Ryan gave you an idol, right? In my head. And then he says, "I'll vote with you on the Bash vote." So even though Megan told me she was not voting with me in blue on Josh, Storm said he was going to.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew there was a big chance he was not going to. But I thought, hey, I got nothing to lose. Let's just keep it this way. And if he does, great. If he doesn't, that's what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
But then he shares with me an idol clue, right? And he says to me, "I'm giving this to you. It's somewhere at camp. You can keep it. You find the idol, it's yours. I don't even have to know about it. Just, And I'm like, this guy, I know he has it at this. I mean, like, he's like, so if I were you, I'll go start looking before tribal council. I'm like, yeah, in my head, I would love to start with your bag. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I'm not even looking for the idol at this point. I thought he has it now. He has the merge idol. So I'm sitting at camp just waiting for the time to pass by. And then Storm comes out of nowhere. I see in my peripheral vision. He looks at me and he's like, all right, Storm, you really want me to look for this idol? So I get up, I do a little circle around camp. Nope, couldn't find it. Sit back down, just to entertain him, because why not? Okay. So yeah, that was that. He shares an idle clue that I knew he already had. So
one thing Josh mentioned when I talked to him is like there wasn't a lot of the sides were pretty set. There wasn't a lot of strategy talk happening between him and the people on their side. Were you having any strategy talk with Lauren, Angelo, Ryan?
I was talking to everybody. I felt like I felt like I knew everybody then. And I I got along with everybody very well. Just let's not talk about the game right now. At one point, Lauren's talking about how to pronounce crayons, and just like it was a little game, just to just take out of the game. Josh was not feeling too well this day. It was a day, that earlier that morning we ate some rice, and Josh was really not feeling too well. So he really was sick that day. And when we were setting camp, he just kind of secluded himself from everybody else and just kind of sat down and just relaxed. And some people took that as he's just too comfortable, might have an idol, but no, he was really sick. So I was talking to everybody. Barbara was doing great. And then, of course, Megan knew everybody from before. So, yeah.
What was I going to say? Talking about your relationship with Bash, right? Because you last left each other day 3. He's a little unhappy about how the votes have gone down. And he's trying to maybe turn the vote on you, and now he's firmly on the yellow side of the force.
Yeah. So okay, don't get me wrong, I really like Bash as a person, but in game Bash doesn't make sense. So after the merge feast, we're carrying these jugs together, me and Bash, and he's trying to give me advice how to play Survivor. He's like, you got to branch out more. You got to do, you got to talk to people. I'm like, Bash, it's easy for you when you've been swapped to a different tribe and everything. You know what I mean? Like, I've been stuck in blue tribe, outnumbered. And, I am talking to people. Like, what do you know? Like, I've been in different tribes the whole time from you, And he's like, does that make sense? I'm like, yeah, I know it makes sense. But, like, he just came a little bit strong to me, I think. And, yeah, I mean, I really like him. But in the game, it just like, yeah, let's leave it there.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about before we get to that first vote?
No, I think I'm good. I'm good for the next vote. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as expected, you have this big swap go down, right? Where Casey gives you the immunity, the immunity, and then you get the fake idol from Josh, right? In this huge show. But maybe what you didn't expect is that you then get 2 actual idols played from the other side.
Yeah, so I was expecting Ryan to play the idol for Lauren because she had the medallion. So it would be the smart thing to do too. Even if Megan was with them, we can go for Lauren. So he just would have to do that. So he gave his idol to Lauren. And what I was not expecting, and I knew he had the
merge idol.
Yeah. But I didn't expect him to play it there. That was a shocker to me. And at one point, I don't know if I can share this video right now with you here. 1 second. At one point, we're at the...
Is that the video? All right, hold on, let me add it to the stream.
Yeah. And he says to me, he pulls 2 idols here. He's just messing around with me right now. Which one is he going to play? So I'm just like, all right, man. Like, he's just kind of rubbing my face here, but acting like he has 2 actual idols. He had 1, and then there was the merge idol, but I wasn't expecting that one to come. I thought he was going to keep it for a while. So that was good to see that flushed out. I was happy to see that. So he didn't need it. Not 1 vote was casted against him. And
here, let's add this back to stream just for Storm. Hold on.
Yeah.
We can pause it right there.
Which one? I remember looking at him, just kind of like smiling. Okay, man, I get it.
We have a question from Parker. Can you talk about why Bash was the vote you all decided on? Why target him at the merge?
If there was any chance of a tie and we go to rocks, I don't think, at least we didn't think that Yellow would do that for Bash. So that's why we were going for him.
So after this vote, Josh goes home, probably your biggest ally at the time.
Yep.
Unoga's down the numbers. Your alliance is down the numbers.
Yep.
It's gotta felt a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good feeling. This is where we really lost control. You know what I mean? Like I was very comfortable before. You know what I mean? Like, Josh and I were doing very well in the blue camp with Barbara. And then I come here and right away, first tribal council, we lose it,
Mhm.
like, but I knew it. I knew what was happening. I knew that Josh was going, there's nothing I can do about it, yeah. So we're just kind of like fighting for our life in the game here, me, Casey, and Barbara at this point.
How are you trying? So what does survival mode look like for you? What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just trying to talk to everybody as much as possible, but
Mhm.
you can be best friends with them. You know what I mean? But the thing is, they're great players and we all know this is a game. Don't take anything personally. They're going to go after you. You know what I mean? So I was
Mhm.
just trying to talk to them as much as possible, but I knew that they really wanted KC out for a while, especially
Yeah.
Ryan. He really wanted KC out. So KC was more of a target than I was at this point.
Mhm.
So we go to our next immunity challenge, and Casey had won the previous one, and Amos gets the necklace back from KC and puts it up on the, what do you call this thing? A pole, for instance.
Yeah.
I see a little sleeve on the pole,
Mhm.
kind of waving in the air, and I'm telling Casey, "Hey, do you see that?" Because I want me and him and Barbara on the bottom now, so we have to really work together now, In case I can't get it, you know what I mean? One of us has to get it, you know what I mean? And he's like, "Where is it?" I say, "Right there where your necklace is." He looks closely and he sees it too. All right, cool. So then Amos says, "All right, get to your spots," or whatever it was. And everybody goes straight away. I kind of hang out back a little bit, and so does KC. And then KC sprints to this, to the pole and unties it quickly. I was like, "Dude, really?" Like, he gives it to me. All right, cool. I thought maybe I have an idol.
Mhm.
Great. I need this right now. You know what I mean? I would have played it for KC even. You know what I mean? Like, I know he was target. I would have played it for him just so we can get the numbers somewhat,
Mhm.
and vote out one of the other ones. Do the challenge. I think this is the one that Storm won.
So this is the challenge that Storm and Lauren won, where you had the heavy paddle balancing a ball.
Yeah. So that was me and Storm in the final two, I believe, in this one. And I really wanted to win that one just so I can, just better chance I will not get voted out next round. But Storm won that one. It was a tough one. It was a real tough one. So go back to camp, and I haven't looked at the sleeve yet, but I felt it was paper. It wasn't like a medallion or something.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, shoot, So I go deep in the woods and I open it up, and it's what do you call it?
Safety without power.
Safety without power. Correct. Yeah, and it's for one person. Like some Survivor seasons, you see this for maybe for 2-3 people. You see in the Australian Survivor, I was like, just for one person. Okay,
Mhm.
and I can only use it this tribal council or the next one after, so it doesn't go far.
Mhm.
So I wanted to keep it as long as I could because the aim was KC. I was pretty sure that KC was their main target. I was told by Megan, and Ryan was so open about it. He's like, "I've been waiting for this day forever." So, okay, great. KC is the main target.
Mhm.
So it looks like I don't need to use this. I can use it in the next one, which won't be very good for Barbara. I thought about that, but I was just trying to keep it as long as I could. In case in my head, maybe if I win the next immunity challenge or Barbara wins it, we're both safe.
Mhm.
But as we're going, so at this point, it's pretty surely it's going to be KC. We're walking towards tribal council, and Storm approaches me on the side, and he says to me, "I know about your advantage." And I'm like, "What the hell?" You know what I mean? He's like, "KC told me." And I also switched idols with KC. And I didn't know anything about idol switching because I knew what KC had was a fake idol, but I
Mhm.
don't know what Storm did. And
Mhm.
not enough time because we were literally walking up to tribal council, getting our torches
Mhm.
up above by Nate, Parker, and Pete.
Mhm.
And I didn't have enough time to scrabble and see if I really needed this or not. And in my head, I'm thinking, why would they get rid of KC with a fake idol if I have a real advantage? It just didn't make sense to me. I thought, do they really want KC out that bad? So I said to him, so as a tribal council, right before I go up to Casey and said, "Did you tell him about my advantage?" He kind of like nods his head. I'm like, well, this only goes for this tribal and next one, so I don't know what to do. I'm thinking tribal council, should I use it or not? And I decided to, I didn't know about what exactly happened with the idol switching between Storm and KC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what deal he made. KC did tell me he wanted to vote before tribal council. He did tell me he wanted to vote for Megan because she had the medallion given by Josh. And I was like, well, that doesn't really work out for me. I want her still in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so who are you working with? Because we still need another person. You, me, Barbara, it's not enough. And he's like, Storm. As soon as he says Storm, it's like, no. You can't trust Storm. He's like, I think we have to. We have no other choice. I'm like, if you get one other person besides Storm, I'm in. I'll stay for this tribal council. We vote out somebody. But I didn't think about Megan at this point. I would not vote out Megan. But anybody. But when he mentioned Storm, and that was the only person he was willing to work with, I said, no, this is not going to happen. So I decided to leave that tribal council, which wasn't a bad thing because Storm had used his emerge idol before. So I thought there was an idol somewhere at camp. Mm-hmm. And I had a good 20, 25 minutes at camp by myself. And I turned every log. I looked everywhere for this idol. Parker was there watching me, and he can contest to this. Like, I was going crazy until I heard the voices coming back from tribal council, and I stopped. Couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I had to use it then.
So were you able to play that advantage for a different player? So you can send someone. So you could send someone from the Majority Alliance back to camp.
I could, but don't they have to approve of it? I'm not even sure about that.
I've never read the directions. I assume you knew because you held it.
No, it never said that. It did. I don't think it said that person has to leave. I think it was an option. Okay. I mean, that's the way I took it. I don't know.
Yeah, because Josh is like, why not play it offensively? Take someone out from the opposing alliance to try to force a tie or something like that.
That's a good question. Honestly, I didn't think
Josh says, I think it was your choice, apparently.
Yeah, but do they have to? I mean, I know I can play it for one of them, but would it really?
Let's assume they had to. Let's say if you played it, they had to leave. Mm-hmm. Like, would that have been something you would have thought about doing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That would be a chance to even out the numbers.
Because I think. And Josh, I apologize. We're about to ask you about why you gave. Well, I get why you gave Megan the medallion, but let's say had Angela or Storm been marked, right? Would you could theoretically have tried to target one of them, right? If you, Megan, Casey, and Barbara voted together as a 4, you safety without power, one for the majority, being able to knock out one of them.
Yeah, that would have been very ideal. I just didn't think. Mm-hmm. I don't think it. You can give it to somebody, it said. It doesn't, it didn't, I don't think it said they have to leave. You know what I mean? I can give it to them, but it's their choice to use it or not. That's the way I took it, And I don't think they would do it. You know what I mean? If they had the numbers then.
Yeah.
It didn't say they must leave. I mean, that's really a Parker.
Yeah. This is a Reelfoot production question that they can answer whenever they listen to this.
But it did say you can choose to give this to somebody. It doesn't mean they have to leave with it.
So it sounds like the decision to play the safety without power really came from learning that the majority knew about it, and you're concerned about being blindsided with something.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So that was my choice for leaving. I didn't seem worth it to maybe last another round. Mm-hmm. Have my game end right there because Storm and Casey switched idols, and it was not enough time to ask him what the hell was that about. Like, why would they switch idols? So maybe they had something working. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It wasn't worth sticking around to find out that it would be me next.
So now that you're at the final 8, and you're down to it's you and Barbara really in the minority. Yeah. What are you trying to find? Like, do you see a crack that you're able to exploit? Or is Megan your lifeline? You're waiting for her to tell you that you're good.
Megan helped me so much in this. Honestly, she was my source of information, during this time, I knew she told me even, you don't need to play your advantage. You know what I mean? She's the only person, her, Casey and Barbara were the only ones I told about my advantage. She told me, you don't need to play it. You're fine. Keep it for next round. But I didn't know that but she probably didn't know about the latest events that happened between Storm and KC.
Yeah.
So because of that, I even went to her afterwards. Hey, it wasn't that I didn't trust you. It was because something happened right before Tribal Council, a switch of idols, and Casey told the rest of the crew. That was it. So me and Barbara are on the bottom, and it's just you're talking to walls to people here. You're trying to talk to them, and they're not budging. You know what I mean? They're comfortable. They have the numbers. There's no reason for them to switch at this point in any way. There was a challenge, a reward challenge, where there was to balance some blocks or something in the middle between ropes. We lose that one, and then me, Barbara, Lauren, and Storm go back to camp, and we're very open about it. We're going to look for idols. That's our only lifeline we have, me and Barbara. So we even did a 4-person confessional together. It was fun. And the plan was to go back and eat rice. And then as soon as we get back to camp, nope, we're going to look for idols. Then we decided to do a rice truce, actually eat some rice. And that's all we had. Just look for idols.
Well, let's say hypothetically you find the idol. Do you play it for Barbara at the final 8?
If I knew all the votes were going to Barbara, yeah.
So you would have idol out potentially Angela at the next vote?
Yeah. I mean, I would keep Barbara as much as I can in this game. You know what I mean? Barbara, just besides a player in the game, she's a real nice person. You want to keep her around. She made the game fun. She's always cracking jokes, narrating everything. She was she really surprised me in this game. From the very beginning, my first impression was so wrong of her that I just wanted to try my best to keep her as long as I could. And I had no control over this game. I lost it long ago now. So
your next immunity challenge, this is the memory box challenge. How confident were you, especially, and were you excited when you learned that the immunity was going to be played like a hidden immunity idol? It would be granted after the votes are cast.
I hated this challenge. I
don't think I've heard anyone like this challenge.
Oh, no way. It's just, I don't know how many boxes there were, but I'm terrible at memory, and I just am saying to myself, I'm not going to remember which box this goes, which box this one is. I just decided to memorize one box number 6. Remember every item in this box in case the question comes up. Name all the items in one box you're choosing. Well, that didn't happen. Okay, so it was on all boxes. So yeah, that was a tough one, and not knowing where it was going to land, like who won immunity, that was also a tough one. I ended up getting 3rd in this one, and Bash wins this one, very surprisingly. So yeah.
So end of day 6, Barbara's the target for the following vote, but she kind of instigates a truce with no strategy talk that night. Now at this point, Lauren and Angela are starting to think about, like, when do we flip on the guys? At what point are you kind of brought into that plan? Does that happen after the Barbara votes for you?
After the Barbara vote. Barbara's gone, and there are 7 people left in the game. I tried to talk to Ryan and Storm. Like, there are 3 girls, Laura, Megan, and Angela. And it's you 3 guys. You, Storm, Bash, and Ryan. What's your plan after this? It seems like you guys are going to go against each other, and then whoever I put the medallion on is going to be screwed, And I tried to talk to Ryan, tried to talk to Storm. They were just so comfortable in the moment. It was like it wasn't going to go anywhere with them. They were really thinking about the now, and now about the next vote, which is going to happen later in a couple hours after I'm gone, for instance. So I tried to talk to them, and they threw me a name. I think it was Angela they threw me, but I didn't believe it. They didn't even try to sell it too hard on me. So I was like, okay, well, this is going nowhere. Then Megan comes to me and she says, I think the girls are willing to play ball. I think they're really ready to make a big move here. And I said, great, let's go talk to them. So I talked to Angela, I talked to Lauren, and it seemed like they really wanted one of the guys out. And Megan and I really wanted Storm out, and I said to even Megan, I would rather have Storm go over Ryan, especially he's been playing tricks on me the whole time, I just want him gone. I mean, that'd be nice. And Megan said, we are kind of the bottom here, so I don't think we can be too bad. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Can't be picky. As long as not us, not me, I'm down for it. I did go tell Lauren and Angela, like, if I do this, like, what's next? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like used as a pawn. You know what I mean? I made it seem like I can go to the guys, but I had no other options. I was like, the Storm next, and they said, yeah. All right, cool. So I agree. So we go to the tribal council, which I think is the blind side of the season here. Megan gets a vote from Bash. Shocker.
Number 3, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's number 3. Yeah. Of course, makes no sense. I get 2 votes. And then I wanted to turn around and tell Storm, you're going to like this one. I just wanted to rub it in his face this time, you know what I mean? But I decided, keep quiet. It really could be you still. And then it'll make no sense me saying that and I go home. That'll be stupid. So,
so do you regret not saying that now?
Yes, of course. I have. Oh, goodness. Seriously, I just wanted to enjoy, like, seeing him, like, just seeing even this face right there when it happened is enough for me. And the votes start coming for Ryan. Ryan goes home. And then Storm is just like blindsided. I see Casey all happy on the jury. Nobody was expecting it, on the jury, I think. So that was great. Like, that's the first time they turned on one of their own, like the Fire and Ice crew, I guess, Alliance, whatever it was called. But that was like, I got a break there, like.
I don't know. Storm says you vote out Ryan because you want to blame that all to yourself.
That may be true. But yeah, Ryan goes home. Storm is like blindsided. I loved it. And this is when Storm really stepped it up, like no more games. Like, like this is like, I think they regret not taking our conversation with us or me earlier, because I would have gone, with either one. Yeah. I really tried to work with them. Storm was, me and him kind of butted heads a little bit, but in a good way. Like friendly, friendly meets stuff. I really liked Ryan. You know what I mean? And I felt like we could have done something together. But they weren't taking me seriously. They were just too comfortable at the moment. And the girls, they came to play that round. They really did. So it just made sense. Got to go. And I don't know Angela too well at this point, like, it just made sense to go with them anyway. That's why I decided not to say anything to Storm, because they could flip on me,
So looking at the final 6, right? It's you, it's Angela, it's Storm, Sebastian, and Megan. Can you rank the other 5 players in order of importance for your game?
Importance for my game?
Yeah.
Oh, right now it's Megan. That's my in with Lauren and Angela. Lauren and Angela, seriously, they're tied. Those, and then Storm and Bash. They're my bottom right there. Because we just blindsided them, so it doesn't make sense that they're important to my game at this point.
Do you have, looking at the final 3, do you have an ideal set of people you want to sit next to, or at this point you're just get me there?
I just wanted to get there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I told Megan this, and I really meant it. I would take her to the final 3. I really meant that. I don't know if she took me seriously or not, but I would have taken her to the final 3. I don't think I needed Bash to be in the final 3 with me, to be honest. I would have taken Bash out anytime, but I think Bash would be another safe bet, maybe, but that's what I would have gone for. I of course didn't have the luxury of choosing that. So yeah. So yep.
Right after Ryan goes out, what happens?
Okay, we go back to camp. Storm is like, he's talking now. He's willing to talk to me now. And I'm just like, my head, oh, you're next, man. In my head, So I go to Lauren and I said, hey, so sticking to the plan, is Storm next? And she just completely changed her mind. It's like, she didn't change her mind, but it was obvious that that wasn't the goal. You know, it was, and if it's not Storm, who is it then? It's me. You know. So when she said to me exact same words like this, if that's what you want, I'll do it. But it just didn't seem like that was happening no more with her. So conversation with her stopped right there. I didn't feel comfortable that they would go the plan of taking Storm out. You know, they just needed the numbers. They needed to get somebody out, and it was Ryan at that point. So I go up to Storm, and I go up to, hey, like, you know, the plan was to take you out, you know, but now it looks like it's going to be me. You know, I think it's in your best interest and my best interest to work together on this one. You know what I mean? Because if I'm gone, you're going to be gone. I'm pretty sure of it, you know, and the girls will take it to the end. You know? And this is where we confessed to each other all the little lies. Like, that was a fake idol you had with you at the Swap Tribe. You gave me a clue that you up to idol you already had. You were never voting for Josh. Were you? It was just like all the back and forth. You know, we had.
Are these your lies or Storm's lies?
Oh, Storm's lies.
Yeah, I was like,
no, those are Storm's lies to me. You know, I mean, I'm saying this stuff, and he's like, yep, I found that idol 5 minutes before I gave you the clue. You know, we were just laughing about it. It was funny. You know what I mean?
well, because that's interesting. Because I just remember like you had the most, not the very awkward conversation that you Bash and Storm together, saying the three guys need to come together, to take out a girl, and maybe just because like with Bash, I was just like, is this even happening? It's like, can these three even trust each other to make something happen?
It's all I had. I mean, honestly, I was the last true blue, for instance, that left, right? So the only person I trusted at this point was Megan. You know what I mean? I didn't trust you know, the rest really that much. You know, like, I knew that my time was limited. I knew that, first of all, I knew I wasn't nobody was planning to take me to the final three. I thought maybe I can go to the final four, maybe. But I did, you know, tell Storm that this is his best interest right now, to take Lauren out, and we don't need Angela or Megan's approval on this. You know what I mean? Because she has the medallion. You, me, Storm, we vote for Lauren. No matter what Angela and Megan do, she's gone. You know. And I really think, regardless of if Megan and Angela had gone with that plan, me and Storm would have done it anyway. I really think, and Bash too. It just made most sense at the time. They decided to vote with you know, on the Lauren vote, but it wasn't necessary. I think that Bash that Storm would have done it anyway. If Storm does it, Bash does it, and Storm would go up to Angela and said, "Now we're even." You know what I mean? You take out my number one, I take out your number one. You know, so I think that was going to happen regardless. Angela and Megan were okay with it, but they were okay with it. And Lauren, Angela came to me and she said, Lauren and I play very similar games. If I'm at the end, I need somebody, you know, I mean, because she's competition for her, you know. She played a great game. She really did. So Angela saw that and she took the advantage and voted Lauren out too. So when all the votes were on Lauren, I was a little bit surprised by that, but it was good. It was good for me.
Yeah, and you get a vote, and you get a vote from Lauren.
Yes.
Checking.
At one point, me and Lauren were very clear, like, we're going after each other. You know, it's no surprise. We even stopped talking to each other when other people were doing, you know, in their groups talking. There was one moment, me and Lauren next to each other, and we just didn't say a word to each other. You know, and she's such a nice person. She really is. Like, even when she left, you know, we hugged. You know, I mean, it was like, you know, it's a small little family. We're all together there, and she's awesome. And I didn't enjoy voting her out. That was either her or me. You know, so yeah.
So I'm not gonna. It's really large, so I'm not gonna put it there. But Parker does confirm that had you played your Sage of the Power on someone else, they would have had to leave.
They would have to leave.
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, that changes a lot.
So things you learn when you've been sleeping well and you've been eating food versus on the ground not eating.
Yeah. I mean,
it goes.
You know, there are a couple things that you do just because you're not eating, you're not sleeping well. I remember at the fake idol when I gave it to KC at the tribal council on the one Josh voted out. I gave the idol back to KC. He says out loud, "Is it real?" And I was like, why would you say that so loud? It's just small little slip ups like this. You know what I mean? They can just mess up your game. I thought Lauren heard that one, but she didn't. But if I had known that, I should have asked that, but it just never occurred to me.
Well, I mean, let's say it's the final 9. You use defensively. You force a rock draw, right? Because you're not voting for Megan. So let's say you force a rock draw that goes in your favor. One of them goes out, then they give, let's say, you the medallion. So
Yeah.
now you the medallion at the final 8, and then another 4-4, and then you go out because of that, right?
Yep.
I don't think it would have been a perfect, but you could. But now in the future, maybe you can use it offensively.
Yeah, I guess so. I just never thought about that. I thought it was an option you can give it to somebody, but it's up to them, I thought, to use it or not. But now I know.
And so this takes us to day 8. How are you feeling on day 8?
This is after the Lauren vote?
This is after the Lauren vote.
Okay, so day 8.
Final day.
Yeah, final day. Feeling like I could be next.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure that.
I'm sure you felt that way the past 5 rounds.
I did. But now with less people around me, you know what I mean? I just felt like this really could be me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I was there for every day of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I even the day before was actually my birthday, and I woke up to everybody singing me happy birthday, which was awesome. I'll never forget that birthday, from the Survivor birthday. So I did every day there. I was very happy where I was in the game, but I wasn't in a good position. I knew that I even knew Megan wasn't gonna take me to the final 3. Nobody would. So I felt like I had to win the next challenge.
So how was that final challenge for you?
Terrible. Terrible. Balance is not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, this was one I really had to win. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, man, like, this is going to be a tough one. Storm had a trouble with this one, too. Like, it's no fault of his, but, he couldn't get on this thing because it would just keep, going back and forth. And even for me, I was on this thing and I had water. The balance was just off. And I knew I was, Storm wasn't able to do his challenge, not his fault, and I told Storm, I'll be there in 5-10 minutes right behind you because I don't see myself winning this one or going far.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have to have 4 points, then 3 points, touching the raft, and then do 2 points. When it came to 2 points, I was like, yeah, that's it. So I fell in the water, and that was that. I lose that immunity challenge. It was between Megan. It was Megan's to lose, really, that one. Mm-hmm. It was like built for Megan, this one. And Bash gave her one hell of a run. Like, it was just fun to watch them two go at it. Like, it was me, Angela, and Storm on the side, just watching them two go at it. And it was like, I don't even know, Nora. Maybe Megan could lose this one. Storm got up from his 3-point position to 2 points. And how he did, it just, it was like, whoa, okay. Like, he is, he's no joke. He really put up a tough competition for Megan, but she ended up winning that one. So then I knew it was like, okay. All I had to go with, honestly, was tell the guys and, to go for Angela. But before that, Megan was still adamant of getting Storm out. And she said, I'm sorry, not Angela. Megan was adamant of getting Storm out. And I go up to Angela and I tell her, hey, are we going Storm? And she's like, yeah, I think so. Now, one thing Angela did in past vote outs on Ryan vote and Lauren, I don't know if she noticed even she did this, but when we voted out Ryan, she gave me a little explanation of why she would want Ryan to go. He's just very likable. He goes to the end. He has a very good chance of winning. Okay. Lauren, she played a very similar game than I did. I need to differentiate my game from somebody to sit next to. Okay. When it came to Storm, she just said, I think so. And I was kind of like, reason? And she didn't give one. And I was like, red flag, red flag. And at this point, I really thought Megan and Angela were like each other's number one. So I really thought that because I thought Angela was going for me, Megan was going for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that, okay, all I have left is the guys. And I'm going to make this story. Let's just go us guys against them. When's the last time two big guys? Oh, I said three guys. Three big guys go to the end. I didn't have much. I threw everything I could.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we all know what happened then. I got voted out.
Storm says had Bash won immunity, he might have tried voting out Megan.
I believe he would have. I believe if Bash had his way, he would have voted out Megan instead of me. Don't think Angela would go for that, and I don't know what Storm would do.
So Storm says he would have voted out Megan.
Oh, he would have. I thought. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So Megan winning, I just knew that I was next.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. And even before, I wasn't even sure. I thought Megan and Angela were he chose number one. That even when I got voted out, there was a vote for Storm, and I really thought that vote for Storm was from Bash, because Bash has always voted differently. You know, we vote for Megan because she won the necklace. So I really thought that Megan, Angela, and Storm voted for me, and Bash did his regular Bash thing, vote differently, and voted for Storm, which made no sense. But then again, some things that Bash did made no sense to me. It wasn't until after, like, Megan joined me and Ponderosa that I found out she voted for Bash. So, that was my game.
So now you're on the jury, though. Your game isn't quite over yet. You're not on the jury a long amount of time, right? You watched Megan get voted out final four, which, were you surprised?
When I went to tribal council and I saw the necklace around Angela, I thought Megan was good. I really did. And then I saw Megan's face, and she looked like down. And I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be her now. Because I really thought Angela was gonna take her to the end. But I get it. Yeah.
What is your what were you looking for in a winner? What's your philosophy as a juror?
So yeah, because I voted for Storm, and I thought that Storm played a really good game. He was my reason. And I'm not saying Angela didn't play a good game. She really did play a good game, and she's a really good winner. But at that time, what I valued, and I still value, is like Storm had to play the fake idol. He was going around camp, putting little, he was working. He's trying to work me up to look for an idol. He pretended to find an idol and switch it with Casey. He found an idol in front of Casey to switch it with him. He made up the whole Trinity thing, which ticked off some people. And he got blindsided and still made it to the end. So I valued a little bit of a struggle to, and to overcome, blindsides and, being like not always in the know. I mean, it's good that you're always in the know. There's no discredit to Angela, but I saw more struggle from him than I did from Angela. So for me, I voted for Storm that way.
Yeah. Were you locked into your vote coming the final tribal, or were you
Not at all. I just knew I wasn't going to vote for Bash. I just knew that. We were all joking walking towards the final three tribal council that they might be late because Bash is still looking for idols. So it was pretty clear Bash wasn't going to get a vote. But I wasn't clear if it was going to be Angela or Storm. I was still making up my mind. And Angela really did give a good speech saying that she had many ways of getting to the final three, which is true. She did. I just, thought that Storm, in my opinion, deserved a little recognition. Yeah, I believe that too. Once you have the game, it's different, he told me the most lies out of everybody, but I still respected his game. He tried really hard to sell fake idols, fake clues, to idols. He managed to switch an idol with KC, which is crazy to me. I can't believe KC would switch an idol. If you have an idol, you got to pretend it's real, So I gave him credit for that.
How was the post game for you?
After the day's over?
Yeah, after the day's over, and you cast your votes, and the winner's been declared.
Yeah, we had fun. We just got together, have drinks, was a fun day, but I passed out pretty early that day because the
Mhm.
night before I barely slept. So it's been a long day. I mean, it's been a
Mhm.
long week. So I actually went to bed pretty early. I feel like I missed out on a good party because a lot of people stay up to 3, 4 in the morning, but I couldn't. So yeah, it was fun. It was great.
So, looking back at your game, do you think there's any like major decisions that you feel you wish you had done differently?
The Julia vote, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah, if we had taken a Bash out, this would be a completely different game. Really.
Yeah, and then that was interesting because that's what Josh really said too. It's like he wished like they'd recognized that Bash was going to be such a problematic player for their games
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah. If Bash was out of the picture early, it would. If let's just say, let's just say Carly, for instance, we replace Bash with Julia. Carly, Julia, and Megan go. I think we could have worked with either one of them later on in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Bash, not so much. Bash really felt left out after me, Josh, not talking to him so much. And maybe that's our fault. We didn't talk to him, but we did it for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, especially I did it for a reason. Like, I tried to work with Bash,
Mm-hmm.
and it backfired on me badly. I was
Mm-hmm.
just lucky enough that Drew didn't side with Bash, because Bash was going for me and so
Mm-hmm.
early in the game, and I was trying to work with him. I thought, like, this guy's a wild card, but at least he's on my side.
Mm-hmm.
But when it backfires me that early, like, what I can't work with that, No way, no.
Do you think there's anything you could have done once the merge has started the change your trajectory to get past that final five?
Well, I could have given that advantage to somebody to leave the tribal council.
I mean, true, but like beyond that, things that maybe you were aware of or thought about beyond that advantage.
No, I really don't see how I could have changed anything there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was talking to them and we got along great, but they all knew this is a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, we're here to play it and to win it, and I I really wish that Ryan and Storm had taken that conversation a little more seriously. This would have been a different game too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but from my point of view, um, you know, I tried everything.
Well, let's say they do believe you. Let's say Ryan and Storm believe you at the final seven, and they do agree that yes, like let's grab Bash and let's vote out Lauren or Angela, right?
Mhm.
And so I guess for you, you see like Lauren out 7, Angela out 6.
No, Lauren out. Either Lauren and Angela at this point, one of them
Yeah.
out, and I would work with the other one because they think they would need it more. I guess it'd be kind of the same because Storm did work with me in one vote.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know how they would have how the other player would have taken it. I think that if they got blindsided, maybe they would vote one with me like they did, Storm
Mm-hmm.
and Bash did. But I don't know. There's no way of knowing, to be honest.
One other thing is Megan has an idol. She uses the final 6 for herself. Were you aware of that idol?
Right before tribal council, she told me.
Do you think there's any other way it could have been used to help you in the game?
No, because Lauren, that was the one where Lauren got voted out.
Yeah.
So, and that was the last time the idol could be played. And I don't think Megan found it much earlier than that.
No, I thought she found it pretty early on.
She did? Okay, I'm not
I
sure.
need to talk to her. From
Yeah.
at least from talking to Angela, it sounded like she got it like final 9, final 8.
Oh, really? That early? Okay, well,
Yeah.
news to me.
Again, I'll confirm when I talk to Megan next week.
Yeah, I'll be watching. I'll be watching. But yeah, I thought she just found it like maybe a day earlier or something. But
Well, I mean, a day would be like
yeah, I guess a couple.
final 9, final 8 at that point.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, I take that back. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, for I was still at the game when you could last use your immunity idol.
Which
So
would
I
be
don't
final
think,
6.
yeah, I don't think it would have helped me too much. Now, if the idol could use a 5,
Mhm.
I think you have to ask her. Maybe she would have played it for me to get Storm out.
Okay, so maybe it was final 7. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
A
Yeah.
mystery one last mystery to be unraveled.
So
I mean,
still earlier. Yeah.
I mean, is there a world where you and Megan have the idol played for Lauren, and you both cast your votes for someone else?
I would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I really would have done it. If she came to me and she told me I'm playing the idol for Lauren to vote out Storm,
Mm-hmm.
would Lauren still go for that? I don't know
Mm-hmm.
because Lauren wanted to go for me for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Lauren would have done it. And at this point, like it would sound good to me, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted Storm out at one point. You know what I mean? I really did. And yeah.
Well, as we kind of wrap up here, I'd love to throw some kind of rapid fire questions at you.
Yeah.
And I think you already alluded to the first one, but what was your lowest point in the game?
The Julia vote. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I regret that one. Yeah.
What about your highest point?
The highest point. Seeing Storm's face, getting Ryan get voted out.
Do you have that picture that you can pull
Oh
up?
yes, I have the video too, but I couldn't play it back here. But I loved this one.
I mean, what a beautiful screenshot.
Yeah, I just love seeing that one. So and making merge was great too. You know, that's a step that we all aim to go for, and so making merge was a big highlight too. Yeah.
Had you and Storm start in the same tribe, do you work with each other or go against each other early on?
I think me and Storm would have worked together. I really think so. Yeah.
What was your favorite challenge?
I like the slip aside.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one a lot. It was one of the earlier ones, but I had a lot of fun doing that one.
What's one of your favorite camp life moments?
You know, that's the thing. There are so many. There's so much stuff that viewers don't see. There's so much downtime, right? Like to make the day go by. And we even said to production later in the game, you should really have like a reward where you can have one of those disposable cameras and just take pictures and moments because there's so many fun stuff that happen out there.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked, you know, the late night talks with people. You know, the final eight. The night of the final eight where Barbara was still there, that was a very nice night. We just all just talked and not about the game, just enjoyed it. I had a good talk with Josh about Star Wars and other stuff. It was fun. It was just like a lot of the enjoyable camp life was from the Yellow Tribe, the Merge Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I think the atmosphere was just much better. Yeah.
Who surprised you the most out there?
You know, people say James did, but I thought James was capable of all the stuff he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He did great. So I was a little bit surprised by him. Barbara surprised me. She lasted. You know, it didn't seem like the elements were really bothering her that much, as I thought they would be in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Dina surprised me. I thought she would be. You know, she was so social, and I think that if she had stayed in the yellow side, she would have gone a lot further than she did.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of those people like Carla that got screwed by the tribe swap. I think that she had the personality, she had the humor, she was just enjoyable to be around. And I think when I first met her at the sequestered room, I said to myself, this person is going to be annoying and probably an early boot to my head. And I could tell that I was way off about her. Yeah.
Who do you wish you had a chance to work with but didn't?
Angela. I think that if we were in the same tribe, we would have done really well together. I think so.
Which game is? Do you think a 2-day game is harder because it's more compact, or a 7-day game is harder because you have more of the elements?
The elements is harder in a week game.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with a 2-game, 3-game day, reality game is like it goes by too fast.
Mm-hmm.
I always said this to myself: if we had more time, like when I played Surviving New York, a lot of stuff could have gone differently if you just went back and got confirmation from somebody. You know what I mean? You have an extra talk with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
In this game here, I felt like all the talking was done. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready to go tribal council, and you know, you there's not much more talking to do. You know what I mean? That helps so much. You know what I mean? Just to go back and confirm, and just to, you know, also like we didn't vote anybody out until day 2, I think.
Day 3.
Day 3, even so even that. So it's just like you get to know people more, and it just changes the game a lot. What's harder? I would still say this game is harder. Just the elements by itself, like really the sleeping at night. It's you don't get much sleep at night. it's cold. You really rely on the fire. Like, I don't think I've ever signed a waiver that meant so much, to be honest. Like, I've done skydiving, I've done bungee jumping, but it's like okay, sure, like a 2-minute thing. This is like 8 days, like a week-long game, which is like, and it's just constant. It's freezing, it's hot, it's muggy, the bugs, the snakes. We had huge snakes at our camp sometimes, and we heard some coyotes at night, it's real stuff, So the elements really just take it up a notch.
What's one thing you wish you knew going into Reelfoot? Or one thing you wish you'd go back in time and tell yourself?
The advantage, so I can play it.
I didn't realize it was going to eat at you like this, so I apologize.
I'll give another month. Oh boy, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Now all the coulda, shoulda, wouldas are just be going through your head of like, oh, I could have shaped the merge. Like, yeah, that's a
whole new one. That's a whole new one. I didn't even think about it existed. But honestly, I don't know how much more different it would have been. But yeah. Besides that, I think what I wish I knew. I wish I was more observant about clues. Honestly, like I just didn't look out for them as much as I should have. I didn't want to look for idols. I knew that as much. I tried for a little bit here and there, but to prevent people from getting idols. I didn't really look it for myself until later when I really needed it. But there were clues all over, and I just walked right by them. Like I remember Josh telling me like he got a clue while he was talking to me and untying it, and I just didn't pay attention to it. It's just like in living the moment, enjoying the moment, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm done talking to this part. I'm gonna go to this person. It's just like I wish I was more observant about clues.
What's been your takeaway from the game? What have you learned about yourself?
That really you're capable of so much more than you think you are. Like, I thought that hunger was going to be an issue, and honestly, after 2 days, it's just not a factor no more. You can really push the human body. I think just can push you through so much, of just your mental here. It's just it will take you so much further than you think your body was capable of doing. I'm very happy the way I played the game. I'm happy that I lasted as long as I did. Of course, I would have liked the outcome to be different, but I'm just very proud, and I think everybody should be proud of themselves. Even just 2 days out there, 3 days out there, it's tough. I mean, Drew should be proud, Julie should be proud, everybody. It was not easy, and we had some really bad weather here. Like, some people might even quit, I would think. But I looked at this tribe, and everybody, and nobody here's a quitter. And there's nobody that would do that. So, yeah.
Have you persuaded your wife to play a Survivor game?
She might do a weekend game. She might, she said.
So she might do. So Survivor New York would be up her alley.
Yeah, I think I can convince her to do that. But that's even a big if. That's even a big if. This game that we did, she would never do it. She just no, not a chance. I would love her to do it, but she won't never do it.
And finally, you've done 2 games. Are you gonna do? Would you do another?
100%. I love it. I think it's hard to turn down an opportunity like we had. It's just, it's not just the game, it's the people you meet. I mean, like I talk to a lot of these people to this day. We group message. I text people. I mean, it's just like it's fun. It's a little family that you thought you would never get out of this game. And honestly, just the game itself. Like honestly, Parker, Amos, and Pete, you guys are the heart and soul of this game. And you made it so much fun, and just makes us want more. At least me. I think that people who said that they will not play this game no more have already changed their mind. I see the confessionals when people got voted out, and I really think that everybody is down to play another one of these. So yeah.
Well, Sharif, thank you so much for this time. Is there anything else we maybe missed that you want to talk about?
Am I the shortest interview so far, or no?
I'll have to check. I will be doing a tally afterwards of who my favorite people are based off interview time.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This is yet another interview with the Reelfoot players. There are more coming your way. Tomorrow night, I will be talking to Ryan at 6 p.m., the 4th member of the Fire and Ice Alliance. And then Friday, I get the final member of the Fire and Ice Alliance with Dina. And then next week, I think the last scheduled interview is with Megan. I unfortunately had to reschedule her from earlier, so I'm very excited to get all the details from her that we've been missing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I'm excited because this was the last of the Trinity, the Holy Unoga Trinity itself. We went to Josh, to Barbara, to Sharif. So thank you, Sharif. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and I'll see y'all later.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.